Do you actually know what's in your campground water? Because we didn't, and honestly, it's pretty horrifying.
And to think we've been drinking it full time for almost 6 years at so many different campgrounds and thought we were covered by a cheap inline filter.
Turns out we're not as covered as we thought.
I'm Thomas, this is Victoria. We are Project RV Living Lost, and this is another Rig Ready review where we review products that could make your RV life a little bit easier, or in this case, a little bit cleaner and probably way better for your health. So big thank you to Blu Technology because they sent us their AR3 UVC 4-stage filtration system, and this thing looks like it's a beast. We're gonna be taking it out on a few camping trips that we have coming up, setting it up, testing it out, and seeing if it actually makes a difference.
It filters and purifies with the UV. It gets rid of microplastics, heavy metals, and bacteria, and more. A model of their filters actually comes standard in some of the new builds of RVs, which has to tell you something about how good they are.
But before we get into what this thing does, we need to talk a little bit about what's been coming out of that campground spigot, because for most RVers, including us, you just plug it in with a regular filter and think that it's gonna be fine.
Everything's not always fine. In our 6 years of RVing full-time, we have hooked up to hundreds of campgrounds, and honestly, we've been able to tell a huge difference in water quality, whether it be from the taste, the smell, or even sometimes the look of it.
And just think about all the things you can't taste, see, or smell, because that water could be coming from the city, or it could be coming from some sketchy well on a property. And you all know this guy, every RVer's standard go-to filter when they first start RVing, and we've probably been through dozens of these things over the years, and I gotta be honest, I'm not sure it's done anything for us.
It sure doesn't taste like it. Now, after an especially gross water experience we had, I may have gotten in the weeds with that water quality thing a bit and made a late night purchase on Amazon of these test strips.
We've even taken a deep look at our local water report. You can find it on the internet, and it meets legal EPA standards, but those are pretty antiquated, and if you ask a modern day scientist, they're gonna be like, that doesn't cut it.
Technically passes and actually clean are not the same thing in my book. You can still have forever chemicals, microplastics, things that once they enter your body, they don't leave. So we're gonna be fake scientists and see how the water quality is without any filter, with our old filter, and also with the new AR3 UVC filter.
And the Blu Technology system is supposed to be able to filter out 100 times more than our old filter. So we're gonna get this thing set up, see how it does.
First off, this filtration system is very pretty. I like the way it looks. And I also love the fact that it comes with this carrying case that you can pack it up in, because when you're living in an RV, it's important to have things that are easy to stow away and take with you. Other thing I'm super impressed with is that the fact that all of these connections are stainless steel, and so is this hose. No cheap plastic here. The 4-stage system filters all the way down to 0.2 microns, which for reference is 500 times smaller than a human hair. Now, Blu Technology does have a 3-stage system, which is the AR3, but we chose the AR3 UVC because it adds UV purification, because I'm a nurse and I don't like the germies. Now, it's gonna come with the filtration system itself, the carrying bag, as well as some quick connect stainless steel hoses, and of course, a plug. As we mentioned before, this system is designed specifically for RVs, not just a home system that's been retrofitted for RVs. So it's gonna be more compact. It also has a quick connect system on its hoses, so it should make setting up and breaking down a breeze.
Now this should be a pretty quick and easy setup. I know those are like famous last words, but I don't know how we could mess this up. Good news about this install, no extra tools needed. However, it might be helpful to have a pressure regulator and a 90-degree elbow. But we're gonna walk through this step by step to show you how it works on our RV and hopefully how it will work on yours. First, we're gonna go ahead and put on our pressure regulator. Now, ours is pretty standard and basic, and if you have a fancier one with like an actual gauge, I believe that you're gonna wanna set it at 60 PSI for this system. Then we're gonna wanna take our 25-foot hose and take off the quick connect and put it on the regulator. Quick connect's pretty easy. You just have to pull this part back and just slide it on there. Let it go. Now y'all may notice that this is not going to fit into here, and it's because both ends of these hoses actually come with the screw connector. So you actually just have to pop that off like so, and then take the quick connect, pull this back, slide it into the system. Next step is you're gonna take your shorter hose and connect it from the system to your RV. However, same thing on this one, it does have a screw connector. So all you gotta do, quick connect it off, pull it off, and then hook it up on the other end of the system. Now to make this a little easier, I'm actually just going to quick connect the screw part off of the hose and connect it to my elbow. Then I can just take the elbow and connect here. I think I'm slowly falling in love with quick connects. And then just real simple, pop this in and you're all set up. Now we got to turn her on.
In order to use the UVC purification, you are going to have a power source nearby, but at most campgrounds, you're going to be able to plug into the electrical box nearby anyways. Quick plug. Oh, there's the light. So now I guess we just turn on the water. I feel like we're missing something.
Right?
This was super easy. That wasn't super fast because of course we were showing you how to put it together, but I know that we can do it a lot faster. We're gonna time ourselves and see how long it would take us like we're showing up to a normal campground. It's not that heavy.
And you know us, weight is a huge thing for us in RV life.
You know what? We just put this whole thing away so that we could show you how fast we could put it back together. However, we just realized that you can actually put this thing together and use it while it's still in the bag. That's pretty cool. So we're still gonna time it, but we're gonna show you it that way.
Ready, go. She is at a blistering pace, y'all.
Woo, killing it.
Look at her go. "20 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Connect it, and time. 32 seconds ain't bad, Victoria.
Woo,
That is not bad at all.
I'm sweating.
This right here was another method of filtration for us that all of our drinking water went through. And the water that you see in here now is from before we installed the new filter. But I think this is the real test, y'all, because Victoria here, she is not a fan of drinking out of a tap. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna both see and taste the difference between the water that we've previously filtered versus the water coming out of the tap with the new AR3 UVC filtration system and see what she thinks about it.
Well, this is kind of pointless because I know what this tastes like and it's okay. Thankfully, it doesn't look as bad in here as it does in there. I feel like it might have gotten a little dirty over time, but here we go. It's passable.
Meh?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I can still taste chlorine in it, which is my least favorite part about city water. Once again, it obviously looks clear. We know it's a filter, but it's also a purification system, so I'm hoping that all of that together makes me not taste the chlorine taste at least. Actually, yeah, that's really not bad. I can't really taste anything, which is the way I like my water.
Let me try. That's actually really good.
One thing that I don't even think we've mentioned that I'm really excited about is to see how it does for like showers and your hair. I've been in places where it dries out my hair so much and also makes me have to re-dye my hair like every 5 days, which is not okay for me. Now we do have a couple of trips planned here in North Carolina still where we're gonna be putting this thing to the test pretty much right away. And so we're gonna be at a bunch of different water sources. We're gonna see how it does and we'll get back to you on that.
So let's get to our little science experiment, starting with the water at our home base park. Now this is just a simple test off of Amazon, but with no filter and with the old inline filter, the water was higher in chlorine. But with the Blu AR3 UVC, the levels went down to pretty much 0. We also tested at a park in the North Carolina mountains, and I could not believe how much chlorine was in that water when no filter was attached. With the Blu filter attached, even my picky taste buds couldn't taste anything. One more test for good measure at a North Carolina coastal location, and we got some very similar results. Now keep in mind that we aren't scientists and this isn't a lab, but it was cool to be able to visualize the difference in the water.
Okay, we've taken this thing out into the wild and we've got some pros and cons for you. Number one for me is cleaner water that, quite frankly, is better for your health.
And it doesn't just taste better, it also makes my skin and my hair feel better whenever I take a shower.
As Victoria showed you, really easy setup and breakdown. Under 40 seconds, she got that thing put together.
Woo! The Quick Connect system made everything a breeze. I also really love the carrying case. Not only is it pretty cute, but also it's really functional and you can actually use the filter through it, which is a genius design.
Storage and weight are a huge deal in our world, living in an RV full time and traveling as much as we do. So it's nice that this is so compact. It stows away really easily. You know, we don't have that much storage space on the outside. And the fact that it doesn't weigh very much at all. When it comes to our reviews, we're honest with you guys. And I gotta say that with this particular item, the pros heavily outweigh the cons this time.
Well, as much as this filters out, it has a list of so many things that it gets rid of. There is one thing that it doesn't take care of, and that is hard water. And in that case, you're gonna want a separate water softener. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I saw one on their website that has that same Quick Connect system. So we might be checking that out.
Yeah, I think that's in our future. Filter replacement is a recurring cost, but it seems to be that they're pretty easy to swap out. And I mean, look, if you're filtering your water in any system, you're gonna be replacing filters.
Yeah, and also these ones last way longer. Now with the AR3 UVC specifically, you do need power to run the UV system. So if you're boondocking, you can still use it as a filtration system. You're just not gonna get the purification from the UV.
And I guess lastly, premium systems come with kind of a premium price point. So it is a higher ticket item, but I look at it as an investment into your health.
And if you don't necessarily need the UV purification part of it, you can also buy the AR3 without the UV at a little bit lower of a price point. So if you guys are interested in buying this system, you can use the discount code on the screen for 7% off, or even easier, we're gonna leave the link with 7% off in the description. And of course, if you have any questions about the install or any of this, leave it in the comments below.
So after 6 years of full-time RVing, honestly, this is way overdue and we should be ashamed of ourselves, but here's to 6 more years of much cleaner water. Y'all keep on exploring and stay lost, okay?
Cheers.
Yep, that's
Cool.
the stuff.